Hello and good afternoon. My name is Josh Ezell. I am designated broker and owner of Breakthrough Real Estate and Property Management. Well, welcoming you today to our training on farming. Here in Arizona, I'm pretty sure along with many other parts of the country, having a farm is one of the most important and best things you can do as an agent, especially when creating and growing a business and truly creating a sustainable business. So let's go ahead and dive right in. To make it easy, I have a listing right now that I think is a wonderful home. And so let's go ahead and see if the neighborhood itself is a good neighborhood to do a farm. So we have this listing here. It's on Astor. It's in the community of Viramonte in Surprise. So the first thing we would want to do is go over to taxes. So here in Arizona, we use monsoon. I already opened it up here. And what you would want to do is go to the tax search and then immediately go down to subdivision. And let's see how many homes there are in Viramonte. A good starting chunk, and you'll have to find the best number for you, but I found 500 is a good starting point for most agents. The whole goal behind a farm is knowing that it could potentially be a short-term play, but the whole goal is long-term. You're spending the first 6 months building your farm. From 6 months to a year, your farm is starting to perform. And then after a year, the more you invest, the more it pays you back consistently. And your goal is truly to develop a market share of your area. Just as any other businesses compete against each other to be the dominant force, that's what you're trying to do in your neighborhood. So if Viramonte does turn out to be a good farm, your goal or my goal would be to take over at least a 30% market share of this neighborhood. That is my goal. So let's go ahead and dive in. We have Viramonte showed up with 350 homes. Now that's not as many homes as we would like, but it's not bad. 350 can still be a good chunk, especially if there's some decent activity going on in that neighborhood. Once I took away Surprise, it did come up with 402. So we'll see, specifically speaking, how many there are a little bit later. There's different ways to search that, but this is a good, just basic general idea of what the neighborhood has. So let's go ahead and base it off the premise of 402 homes. Now let's go back to the MLS and let's do a search, and let's do a neighborhood search for Viramonte. So we want all the active pendings and closed over the last year. Go down to subdivision, Viramonte, however you prefer to pronounce it. And then let's go back a full year. So we'll go back 5/3/2016. Let's go view results. We have 33. So there are currently 2 active, 2 pending, and that basically means there are 29 closed. That is a very, very good subdivision. We have a CMA that we can do on this search, which if you come right up here, CMA, all I do is choose statistical buyer CMA. And so let's go ahead and pull it up. So this is a great quick breakdown again of the actives, pendings, and closed, how many days they were on the market, what the sold price was, if any of them sold for above or below asking price. All these are good factors to kind of weigh in on determining if this is a good farm or not. Okay, so let's start. Let's take a step back. And in the national average for moving is somewhere around 5%, 5 to 7%, depending on the numbers you see. So if we have 400 homes and 29 people moved in the last year, that would be a stat of 7.2%. Okay, that is on the high end of where we want to be. You don't want to err on the low end. If anything, in this case, you do want to err on the high end of moving, because that just means that there's more activity in the neighborhood. So 7%, that is perfect. So check that box. Good to go. 29 sales. Now, markets have a lot to do with neighborhoods in general. If it's a slow market, not very good. If it's a hopping market, great. So the general rule of markets is if there's 3 to 4 month supply, that's a stable market. If there's less than 3 months, it is a seller's market. If there's more than 4 months supply, it is a buyer's market. So let's see how many we have currently active in this neighborhood. There are two. There are currently two pending. And in the last year, we've had 29 sales. So 29 sales in the last year breaks down to 2.4 sales per month. So if we have 2.4 sales per month, when will we run out of homes, given that there are two listings? Within a month. Even if you add in the pending listings, since they technically haven't closed yet, that's 4. We're still at barely 2 months supply. No matter which way you cut it, this is a seller's market. In your farm, you are looking for listings. Listings and a seller's market go hand in hand. That is a perfect match. So check that box. Boom. So far, this is turning out to be a decent farm. All right, now your average home in the Phoenix area right now is selling for about $225,000, $230,000. It shows right here that the average sale in Viramonte is $243,000. Hits, price point, good. You don't want to go too high, too low, depending on the area you're at. I found that your more popular neighborhoods that have higher price points often have more competition and therefore less sales, and it's tougher to break into those markets. Whereas if you go with a standard subdivision that may or may not be the most popular, but it's a good price point and a decent area, it will have a lot of activity and not nearly the competition with other agents trying to get into it. So keep that in mind as you're looking. You don't want to go too high or too low, So anyway, 243 with this amount of activity, that's a great price point. Okay. So number of sales checks the box. The price of the sales checks the box. The number of sales in the last year checks the box. So let's keep going. Now, let's go back to the MLS. And obviously, if we're going to be trying to get a market share of this community, it would be good to know if any of the other agents already have market share. So what we want to do now is under listing member, let's go through and see if there's any other agents that are repeating themselves. Like here's Shannon, for example, 2. 2 is not bad. More than 2, we'll address that if we come to it. But let's see. Hopefully we won't run into any more repeat names. So let's see as we're going through. I only saw 1 or 2 repeats. Perfect. So no, there's not an agent in there that already has a third market share, even at that. So this is an available subdivision is what I would call it. All right. So we have the size. It's not bad. We'll probably, if we choose to run with this one, we'll probably end up adding another subdivision in the future. The price point, great. The competition, great. The seller's market, great. I mean, this neighborhood is truly turning out to be a good neighborhood to invest in for a farm. So now that it checks the boxes for pretty much everything else, let's see what exactly this subdivision, if we do what we're supposed to, what will this subdivision be able to provide us? So what we want to take is, let's go back to the CMA. Now, we've had 29 sales in the last year. Okay. Now our goal is to develop a 30% market share. A 30% market share for this community is 8.7 sales. Now let's go ahead and just run with 8. Okay. 8 sales for the year. The average sale in this neighborhood was $243,000. So 8 times 243,000. That is a total volume of 1,944,000. Okay. Now that's exciting, but let's see here. Your average sale, 243,000. Let's say you do an average commission of 3%. That is a commission of $7,290 times 8 sales. This community should bring you $58,320 in the long run. Now, door knocking twice a month for 2 or 3 hours, sending out mailers twice a month, making sure if you're having open houses to focus on this area, putting out flyers for the neighbors, inviting them to private open houses, any market updates. This is the area you want to dominate. And this is on top of everything else. Because keep in mind, if you take a listing in this area, listings are not only supposed to sell that listing, but you're going to get another buyer and hopefully another listing out of it. So it's almost basically a 3 for. So these 8 sales should potentially bring you 24 sales in the long run. The power of a farm is so strong, and it's almost exponential, the growth, if you invest in it properly. I know this was a very quick overview. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. My phone number is 602-821-7460. My name is Josh. I'm owner of Breakthrough Real Estate and Property Management. My email is josh@b as in breakthrough, R as in real, E as in estate, P as in property, M as in management. Josh@brepm.com. Thank you so much. Please leave your comments below. I'll talk to you guys soon.